Welcome back, guys. In today's video, we are going to discuss injuries. Injuries are a part of jiu-jitsu. They always have been, and it's unfortunately one of those sports where if you get into it and you don't get injured, you're really lucky. So what we're going to talk about today is how to prevent injuries, how to train properly so you don't get injured, and if you do get injured, how do you train and still work around it?
If you play this game long enough, that part's going to happen.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 30 years, and I've been fairly lucky on the injury side of things. Now that I'm getting older in age, things like arthritis and tendonitis, those are the things that are starting to act up for me.
You're probably also seeing all those things that you squirmed out of when you were a 20-year-old rubber-boned kid.
That's right.
You're starting to pay the price for
That's
that
right,
now.
right? I used to be a fella that was double jointed and you could arm lock me and my arm was bending the other direction.
In the old days, I remember that.
Well, now that I'm 40 and I'm not 20 anymore, my arms don't go straight anymore. So it didn't bother me at the time, but now it does. So eventually, Father Time catches up to you, right? And so all these young guys that I have now at my school, when they're in those positions, I'm just like, just tap,
Just tap.
just tap. Why are you fighting out of an arm lock that's fully extended? Your arm is hyperextended.
And it's just Wednesday night class.
That's right.
This doesn't matter.
That's right. You're not in ADCC Worlds.
You're not even at a tournament in some po downtown where
That's right. You're literally on the practice mats.
where this is what a tap is for.
That's right. So instead of fighting out of those positions that you really don't need to fight out of, tap, move on, start to learn how to get out of those arm locks a little bit sooner versus I don't want to get tapped by buddy at my gym because we're really close in skill level, blah, 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 or whatever the case may
I'm
be.
a blue belt and this guy's a white belt and I outweigh him.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. So when we're tapping will be a huge indicator of our injuries down the line,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Or I see it lots. The 30-second buzzer goes off. There's 30 seconds left in the round.
Now it's on.
Well, there's 30 seconds left in the round. You have me caught in a submission. I'm going to wait out to the buzzer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
I want to survive.
So you're getting your limbs pulled on for an extra 30 seconds.
Trying to be mentally tough.
To wait out the round and say, you didn't get me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, is that the right approach?
You know, this speaks to so many people. We all have trouble with this. Is training is different than grappling. You know, like it.
Yeah.
One is you mostly are learning, and the other one you're mostly testing what you've learned.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
When you're rolling, you're like, okay, does my stuff work?
Correct.
There's some learning.
Yeah.
But the focus is I'm testing. Do I have this?
Yeah.
Whereas training, it's like the tap should not. It's not a competition.
Yeah.
But people still think of it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And the tap, man, like for whatever reason, and some people are fine with it, and some people are really not. They really do not like tapping. And it's one of those things where, man, just get over yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And recognize that it's part of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Right? Just like if you're playing any sport, soccer, basketball, hockey, tennis, you don't do any match, any game on the planet where you don't get scored on.
Sooner or later, it's going to happen.
Right? So be okay with getting tapped and learn from it.
And if you have that mindset and you're willing to tap and let it, like, there's a point you don't want to tap over nothing.
Yeah.
But when you feel that the person's got it on the bit and you tap, you're going to become the kind of person people would rather train with because you're an honest training partner. You're giving good feedback. It's not a full on match, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I'm going to give you this example. If you and I are sparring, grappling, and you have me caught in a submission,
Someday that might happen.
and I don't tap, and you break my arm,
I'm gonna feel pretty rotten.
who's going to feel bad in that situation, you or me?
I'm gonna feel pretty. We're both gonna feel bad, probably, right?
Well, as the person breaking or wrecking somebody's
I'm
arm,
gonna feel pretty horrible.
that's right. So now, as the person caught in the arm lock, is that fair to do to my training partner?
See, that's an interesting mind shift.
Right?
You don't put that on people.
Don't put that on people. Nobody's here to hurt anybody. So by not tapping and making your training partner feel bad if they hurt you, think about that.
Yeah, that's kind of a jerk thing to do to other people. Even though you're the one with the broken arm,
That's right.
you also hurt the other person.
Yeah, but the guy with the broken arms be like, "Oh, but I'm tough."
Yeah.
Right? No, it's not your fault. I should have tapped. Blah, blah. But you're still going to feel bad because you're a good guy and you're a human being, right?
Yeah, you don't want to hurt.
Nobody wants to break somebody's limbs,
Not you.
no, especially not in practice.
Right. We're all friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
So think about it in that context.
That's a good point.
Who is going to feel bad or guilty about hurting somebody if they don't tap?
Yeah, anybody that you want to train with, they're going to be the kind of person that would affect them.
Yeah, yeah.
They're, if you're training with somebody who could break a limb and not feel bad about it, that's a psychopath, and you should not train with that person anymore ever.
Well, and I've also had this happen where you get those individuals that don't like to tap. Then when they do get caught in a submission, I've had some students be like, I just let it go because I don't want to hurt them.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So now all of a sudden, the guys that don't like to tap, they're all of a sudden not getting tested.
Yeah.
Because their training partners are like, I know this dude's not going to tap.
I know you won't.
I know you won't, so I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah. I've felt that on a few people over the years, right?
Yeah.
And I actually had that happen, the reverse of that, probably a year ago now, where I was with somebody who was smaller and a higher belt, and they got an arm lock on me, and it was pretty good. And I used my strength to muscle out of it. And then I realized what I had done. And also later that night, then my arm was sore. So the next time I saw that person before class, I apologized to them, saying, "Hey, yeah, that arm lock you got on me the other day, that was legit, and I should have tapped, and I'm sorry I didn't."
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because I felt like an idiot for just going, I'm bigger, I can get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Well, and that's called having some self-awareness.
Yeah, right.
Right?
So I've gotten better at not doing that. It doesn't happen to me very often, but there's one that sticks in my mind where that happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, I owe that person an apology. They had that legit.
And trust me, I've been guilty of it in the past as well.
We've all got
Right?
egos, right?
And I come from the background of being a competitor.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're getting ready for matches and fights, you get caught in certain situations and you're like, I got to test myself to see what's the threshold here.
Yeah.
And but is that doing you any favors? I don't know. I don't think so.
To me, that kind of stuff should be reserved for, you've got guys who have a fight coming up and they meet outside of regular scheduled classes and say, we're going to go like more in fight mode. We're going to train hard to prep for that. And even then, you do it enough to inoculate you against that level of intensity, but you don't train like that a lot because you're going to rack up injuries.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's kind of the mathematical equation of the thing, right? The more time you spend sparring, the more likely you are going to get injured.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because there's so many more unknowns.
I was rolling with a brown belt a couple of weeks ago, and they put a sweep on me, slow, controlled, everything was fine. I just had my hand in kind of a silly position,
Yeah.
and it ended up trapped between the mat and their gi. We're rolling over it slowly, and I could feel it start to lock my wrist. And
Yeah.
I made a little bit of a squeak, but then all of a sudden, as we rolled, my hand popped out, and I didn't get hurt. Right away, though, he was concerned, and even the next day, he asked me if my wrist was okay. And
Yeah.
it was a case where he was being mellow, I was being mellow, but sometimes it just does happen.
It's unavoidable.
Had he been going like a maniac, he probably would have broke my wrist.
That's right.
Right. But because he was going so controlled, something that could have been bad wasn't bad.
Injuries in this sport are almost unavoidable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're one of those guys that all you like to do for training is spar, 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 you're going to get hurt, sorry to say,
Mhm.
right? If you're young, you probably are going to get away with it a lot longer, but eventually it catches up to you.
When you're young, you'll get hurt and it'll bother you for a day. When
Yeah.
you're your age, you'll get hurt and it'll bother you for a while. When you're
Yeah.
my age and you get hurt, it might be, well, this isn't going to work right ever again.
Yeah.
I've got a problem with my toes in this foot where it's never going to heal right.
Yeah.
It's just done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And that's how the evolution, right? As you get more versed into this sport, you start to recognize, yes, sparring is very important.
Absolutely.
We have to do that.
Absolutely.
That's part of what's going on.
if we're not doing that, we're doing katas.
But should it be the only form of training you do? I don't think so,
No.
right? There's drilling, there's repping, there's strength training, right? So, and I know this, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys only like to do jiu-jitsu. They don't like to do anything else.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm a hobbyist and this is what I do for fitness and fun. Right.
But now adding in some strength training, right? All of a sudden you're doing some weights and some strength training. Guess what happens to your joints?
Yeah, they get stronger, more limber.
They get stronger.
I
So
would never deny that extra training is useful. I just don't. But
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with you.
I know, right? And a lot of practitioners, especially jiu-jitsu practitioners, only do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And this is just like any sport. If you're playing hockey players do dry land. They
Yeah.
cross train.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't do all of their training and practice on the ice.
Road work, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the more in shape your body is all around,
Yeah.
again, is going to help injury prevention.
Yeah.
Same with diet. The
Yeah.
more hydrated your body is, you're going to prevent injuries. Right? You're not eating McDonald's and then coming to the training mats. I know a lot of guys do that, but is it the healthiest, most proper approach to things?
No, of course not.
No.
I'm
Because-
not like one of those guys that I don't smoke, but I'm surrounding those people who are smokers who say smoking never hurt me. Cough, cough, cough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, well, deny till you die, buddy.
Do 10 rounds and we'll see how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least be honest with yourself, right? If you're not willing to do that other stuff, well, okay, that's the calculation I run, but just know that you're not getting what you could be.
But all those things help,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, there's always this age-old question, but to do all of that takes a ton of time. Yes, it does. And that's where having a planned out week,
Yeah.
having a training schedule and
Discipline.
routine, discipline come into play. So, yes, we always want to do the fun stuff. I want to come to sparring class every day because it's the funnest. Yes. But maybe you plan out, okay, I'm going to do these sparring classes. I'm going to do these technique classes. I'm going to do some strength work on these days. And you have a plan for your week that's conducive to your lifestyle, your body, your goals.
And what's right, a program that's right for one person isn't necessarily right for another person.
No.
Like I'm a lifetime hobbyist. I'm never going to compete. I don't want to compete. So I'm trying now to roll like once a week, so
Yeah.
that I keep my beak a little bit wet in that.
Yeah.
But I also know that the more time I'm rolling, the more time I'm risking injury. And
Yeah.
to me, injury is huge,
Yeah.
right? Especially being an older guy. So yeah, my grappling isn't maybe progressing as fast as it could be. But then again, if I'm not getting hurt and having to quit training for a huge gap, maybe my grappling is actually
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
progressing fine.
And when you are grappling, having the awareness to pick your partners,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And this is something that
That's a big topic because we always say, well, you can refuse a role with somebody, but it's you rarely see that happen. You do, but
well,
it's
no one
tough.
wants to be that guy, right? If
No,
you
no.
ask me to roll, I don't want to be that guy that's like, no, 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 not today.
Yeah.
But if you know, well, Lee, you outweigh me by 150 pounds. Maybe I have a sore back today.
Come on, I'm not that fat.
I'm just hypothetically, right? And maybe I kind of tweaked my back and it's on the verge or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, my ego says I can roll with you.
I'll deny it and I'll be good. Yeah.
But is it the smartest thing to do?
Maybe you'll get away with it.
You might get away with it.
Maybe you won't.
But how many times are you going to test your luck before you don't?
How many times are you gonna fire that gun in Russian roulette, right?
That's right.
What I've tended to do is if there's people like there are people that I go, okay, I'm just never gonna ask that person to roll because I know they're, aggressive and scary.
Yeah.
If they asked me, if it's somebody that I'm thinking of a case or two where I'd be just like, I gotta go. I'll make an excuse. I'm not gonna say no to you hanging around and roll with somebody else because I don't want I don't feel like being that. Even though that should be perfectly legit to do.
Yeah.
I get it. So I'd be like, actually, I gotta go, right?
Yeah.
There's other people where if I was a little bit on the fence about it, I'd say, well, okay, but I'm feeling kind of, I got this or that. Let's go light, start to roll, and then if I feel like it's
Oh, yeah. The let's go light.
yeah,
You know how long
and
that lasts.
right until I start winning,
Yeah.
until I get on top, and then it's spaz time.
Yeah.
And at that point, then I'm just going to get super defensive until I get through that one particular roll, and then again, it's going to be, oh, what do you know? I got to go pick up grandma.
You know, the let's go light line, I hate it.
Because
What's the point? Somebody's lying, right? If I tell you let's go light and you're like, okay, it's only going to take one of us to do something before one of us starts to pick up the pace.
it's amping.
And then we're both picking up the pace. So then we've both become liars
Yeah,
because we've agreed to go light and then neither of us are going light,
yeah. Good point.
right?
Good
So
point.
just roll. Now, instead of saying, let's go light, why not take this approach? And I'm just throwing it out there. Hey, I'm not feeling 100% today, but I want to work on my guard retention.
Mm,
So every time you pass my guard,
We'll reset.
and we reset.
because that breaks that
Go as hard as you want, pass my guard as hard as you want. But if you pass my guard, now I'm
We
not getting
reset.
squished and we're resetting.
and it just doesn't keep amping up through the whole round.
That's
You
right.
keep hitting the reset button.
That's
That's a good point.
Right?
That's a good point.
I mean, what's wrong with taking that approach? And would somebody say no to it?
If somebody did, I'd be like, well, okay, then
Yeah, yeah. Go
We'll
grab
do
some
that.
milk. So
Yeah.
this is what I want to work on right now.
yeah, that's a nice way of doing that without coming off like some kind of
Well,
attitude or
because
judgment, right?
Because the let's go light thing, like I
It
said,
doesn't
it
work.
makes us both liars and it doesn't work.
Yeah. It takes two people with a lot of discipline to just do that,
Yeah,
right? You're really doing some kind of a flow drill at that,
that's right. You're flow rolling.
which is fine if you've got somebody that you know and you both do that.
But, and now here's my opinion on flow rolling. White belts, they can't flow roll.
True.
Blue belts can't flow roll,
Okay.
right?
I'll buy that.
You have to be advanced enough and know enough about a lot of positions to be able to move through a lot of positions with somebody else fluidly.
The previous hack where you were transitioning from omoplata to a triangle,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
right.
You'd have to know that well enough to pull it off smoothly.
That's not a white belt technique,
No.
right? Because
Either of them
yeah, yeah.
and put them together. It's certainly
You
not.
need to be good at a triangle choke. You need to be good at an omoplata, and you need to be good at going back and forth between the two.
Yeah. There's 2 or 3 years worth of training just to get that down.
That's right. That's right. Now let's say I'm going to ask you this. let's say you get injured. Do you stop training altogether till you're better? Or do you modify your training to keep going?
It's going to depend on the injury and the severity. I
Yeah.
would prefer modification,
Yeah.
right? I'm probably not going to do any sparring if I have an injury because there's just less control and structure in that,
Yeah.
right? If I know that we're studying guillotine chokes and it's my neck that's jacked up,
Yeah.
I might come and sit and watch class.
Yeah.
Or I just might not even show up. But I'm not going to go to do it. Oh, I got a nearly broken shoulder, and I know that we're doing paintbrush arm locks. Well, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I've got a jacked up shoulder and we're doing foot locks, or just side pins, that maybe is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I take it on a case by case basis.
And it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Injury severity is one thing, right? And now I have this belief that movement is medicine. Movement is medicine. So if you're injured, sitting on your couch is going to keep you injured a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Blood flow, sweating, endorphins, like all that stuff.
There's the psychological benefit.
That's right. All that stuff will help speed up recovery if you don't re-injure yourself.
That's what I was just going to say. There's a point where, you can take a small injury and jack it up and make it way worse again.
Yeah.
You've got a sore rib and now you go do something and now it becomes broken.
Yep. And I'm going to give you this example. About 2 years ago now, I tore my groin. I had a groin injury. So it was very hard or very difficult for me to pick up my legs and use my legs. So instead of not training, I would do this. My guard work would basically be non-existent.
Okay.
So if someone would start in my guard, it'd be like, okay, you're going to pass my guard. I would just go like this.
And just let it happen.
You're going to pass my guard. And I did a lot of work for about 6 weeks on the bottom side of every position.
Okay.
I can't replace my guard. I can't use my guard. But what I can do is let my students work on their top game. But what that's also doing is building my defense game. So I did a lot of work of letting people be on top of me and hiding my arms, keeping my arms safe, keeping my neck safe, hanging out underneath here.
So instead of lamenting that and trying to fight through it, you just go, okay,
Yeah, it is what it is.
I'm going to let that happen. And then you use that as an opportunity to focus on something else. That's intelligent. I like that.
My guard game, it was gone. I couldn't use my legs.
Right.
So it all depends on the injury, your mindset around the injury. And I know a lot of people, they get injured and they get depressed and it's, oh man, I'm not going to be able to train for 8 weeks. And then I got to get back into shape before I train.
Yeah.
And blah, blah,
It's this
blah,
whole
blah, blah.
thing.
It's this whole thing. And then they exasperate it, make it to be a worse situation than it needs to be.
I've run into some cases too where, you get talking to people and they find out, oh, you didn't train jujitsu. And you'll hear the story. Oh, I tried that and I loved it, but I could only do it for a couple of months. And then I tore my shoulder and I couldn't train. Yeah, because you were going like an idiot.
Yeah.
You weren't doing jujitsu. You were going like an idiot. You never did jujitsu.
Yeah.
Right?
You were in the spazzy white belt phase.
Yeah, and just going hard every night.
Yeah.
When somebody tells me a story like that, I'm like, oh yeah, you're that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Not every practice has to be a fight.
In fact, no practice should be a fight.
Because if every practice is a fight, guess what happens? You start off being excited to come to practice.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll be like, man, I'm really not excited to go to practice because I'm fighting for my life every day.
Yeah, and then you won't keep doing it.
No.
I look at this as something I want to do long time, right? And so for me, it comes down to my first priority is to not get hurt.
Yeah.
Because I don't bounce back from injuries.
Yeah.
The second thing is to have fun.
Yeah.
Get some exercise, and then learn jujitsu. See, it's way down here at the bottom, but it's still on the list.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if these other things aren't happening, it won't happen.
No.
For it to happen, I have to stay healthy, having fun, and again, getting exercise, being healthy.
Yeah.
Not hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And now, as a coach or an instructor, how much weight is on me to make sure that my students are getting injured,
that you're running a safe school. You don't want that reputation, right?
right? So then there's that side of things. So as the coach, the leader, the instructor, what kind of a program are you running to ensure that your students aren't just coming in getting injured? Because at the end of the day, if you're running a school, you want retention.
Yeah.
Right? You want your students to stick around. If your students are injured, they're not coming to class, they're not paying their dues. And then the more that happens,
Not a great marketing
that's right.
strategy.
The more that happens, the worse that is for your program. So the healthier you can keep your students, the better your program's going to be. And then there's that, that stat where most people quit at blue belt or before blue belt. Well, guess the reason?
It's part of that. It's part of that, right?
This is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
They get injured right away because they went too hard too soon.
Or they were that, and also they started trying to do it, but they just honestly weren't having any fun because they were just getting mauled,
You're just getting smashed.
right? And
Yeah.
that's not fun. There are some people who will power through that because they got it in them, but most of us, it's just going to turn
It's
us
a
off.
very small percentage of human beings that will power through that.
Yeah.
Right?
You kind of built like this guy to,
Yeah. You have to be built like a crazy man.
to
There you go, guys. Injuries. Oh, it's tough. We've all been there. We've all been injured in this sport. How do you manage it? And what kind of injuries have you guys sustained?
and how do you cope with them?
How do you cope with them? And how do you get back on the mats? Let us know in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Lee.
Thanks, sir.
As always. Till next time.
Yes. Right. Takes a
You
special.
have to like a little suffering.
It takes a special takes a special kind of stupid to stay in this a long time, right? Like we got it.
Yeah, it's a small percentage of human beings that last a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades in this sport.